Hurricane Maria made landfall early September 20 in the southeast coastal town of Yabuco as a Category 4 storm. It's one of the strongest hurricanes to ever hit Puerto Rico. The Washington Post. This article, originally published at 12:50 p.m., was updated at 11:10 p.m. with the latest information from the National Hurricane Center. Hurricane Maria tore across Puerto Rico Wednesday, unleashing destructive winds, knocking out power to the entire island, and catastrophic flooding. The storm, which will continue to batter the island with torrential rain into the night, is next set to scrape across the northern coast of the Dominican Republic Thursday before arriving in the Turks and Caicos and southeast Bahamas on Friday. This weekend, it is expected to turn north parallel to the east coast. But just how close it tracks to the coast next week, while enormously consequential, is not yet clear. Scroll down for additional information. The latest: Maria's assault on Puerto Rico. Maria continued moving away from Puerto Rico Wednesday evening, positioned 55 miles east of Punta Cana, Dominican Republic at 11 p.m. Even though the storm was further separating itself from Puerto Rico, heavy rain and strong winds were belting the island on its backside and may not taper off until overnight. In the hours leading up to and following landfall, the storm's peak winds had decreased substantially, from 175 to 110 miles per hour, but the Hurricane Center predicted the storm to strengthen back to a major Category 3 hurricane by Thursday and hold that intensity for at least 48 hours. While winds were diminishing somewhat Wednesday evening, torrential inland rain over Puerto Rico had emerged as the most severe hazard. The Hurricane Center described the resulting flash flooding as catastrophic. Rivers on the island had rapidly risen, some reaching record levels in a matter of hours. At 11 p.m., 10 of 27 river gauges on Puerto Rico were reporting major flooding, and flash flood warnings covered all but the southwest portion of the island. The National Weather Service in San Juan reported incredible rainfall rates up to 5 to 7 inches per hour Wednesday morning. Estimated rainfall totals in Puerto Rico exceeded 20 inches in most areas. Some gauges recorded amounts to around 30 inches, including 33.58 inches in La Plaza, and 28.70 inches in Citra. As the storm made landfall early Wednesday morning along the southeast coast of Puerto Rico, a National Ocean Service tide gauge at Yabuco Harbor, Puerto Rico, reported a rise in water 5.3 feet above the normal high tide. Wind reports became scarce by 8 a.m. as wind sensors and/or their transmission signals failed, but numerous locations clocked gusts over 110 miles per hour, including San Juan. Effects in St. Croix and U.S. Virgin Islands early Wednesday morning. Sustained winds reached 106 miles per hour and gusts were reported up to 137 miles per hour in St. Croix. Between 10 and 11 p.m. Tuesday, St. Croix Airport on the southwest part of the island reported gusts up to 92 miles per hour before the wind sensor stopped reporting. While St. Croix was hit hard and damage was extensive, the storm's inner eye wall containing its most violent winds just missed to the south, sparing the island the worst of its fury. The storm passed even farther to the south of St. Thomas, but social media photos showed significant flooding on the island. The forecast: while the core of Maria will progress offshore by Wednesday afternoon, Puerto Rico can expect torrential rain and strong winds well into the day, perhaps into the evening. Flash flooding and mudslides are likely to continue and, in some areas, worsen. Link: National Weather Service local hurricane statement for Puerto Rico. Effects on the Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos and southeast Bahamas by Wednesday night and through Thursday. The storm should be exiting Puerto Rico and is forecast to parallel the north shore of the Dominican Republic, which was hit hard by Irma. Early on Friday, the hurricane is expected to come close to the Turks and Caicos and southeast Bahamas, also ravaged by Irma. All of these areas are under a hurricane warning and can expect hurricane force wind gusts and torrential rains of 8 to 16 inches, and locally up to 20 inches. The storm surge is forecast to reach 4 to 6 feet above normally dry land in the northeast Dominican Republic and up to a devastating 10 to 15 feet in the southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, near and just north of where the center passes. U.S. Effects after the storm passes the southeast Bahamas. Some models suggest it could find an escape route out to sea, remaining offshore from the east coast, but it is way too early to sound the all clear. Hurricane Jose may help in keeping Maria away from the U.S. mainland by drawing it to the northeast. However, if Jose weakens too quickly, Maria could drift closer to the U.S. coast by the middle of next week. Even if Maria remains just offshore along the east coast, dangerous surf and rip currents are lee.